Hi everyone, this is VEDA day 4, and today was a really productive day, but not in the way that I originally planned or expected or wanted. I woke up nice and early, expecting that I was going to wake up and I was going to do a bunch of word sprints. I wanted to knock out a couple thousand words for my Camp NaNoWriMo novel. And when I woke up, my computer was, it was overheating. The fan was just running nonstop. So I ended up going to the store and spending forever finding the tools necessary for me to take the bottom off my computer and clean it all out. And it looks like whoever owned the computer before never actually ever cleaned the fans, because once I got all the dust and everything off out from inside the computer, it runs so much smoother. When I open up Scrivener, it's not hiccuping, it's not freezing, it's not overheating. Like, it was to the point where I would run it and it would just, the fan would be going even on sleep mode. So once I was done with that, I thought, well, now I can write. But, when you're procrastinating from your writing, suddenly everything else looks so much more necessary. And things that were scary to do before, suddenly you would rather be doing those. And that's what happened. I managed to submit 2 short stories today to literary journals. One of them, I actually think I have a decent chance of getting the story in. The other one, probably not. It's like my dream journal, and if I get into that journal, I would just be. It would be so amazing to get into that journal. And I know it's one of these places where I'm just going to submit to them over and over and over until eventually I'm a good enough writer that I will be within their pages. You know, I was reminded of J.D. Salinger and how he kept resubmitting to the New York Times. And I was like, yeah, that's totally going to be me. I'm going to be submitting to the Sun and the Paris Review over and over and over and over and over. And eventually I'm going to be a good enough writer to be in those pages. And I can't wait. So I sent my first one. It was also my first time submitting in paper, which was a different experience. It was very psychologically different. It's one thing, it's already hard enough when you pull up the computer, you open up Submittable and you do your cover letter and you send the paper, you upload everything and then you just press send. That's already hard enough. But to physically put the papers in the envelope and address it and put your self-addressed stamped envelope inside and get ready to mail something, it was really scary. Like, it was a whole nother experience. And I was really proud of myself. I was really, really proud of myself. Tomorrow I'm going to be submitting one of the stories that I submitted. I'm able to do multiples, so I'm going to submit it to a second journal, and then the other story, I have a flash fiction that I'm going to submit as well tomorrow. So then when I was done with that, I was ready to start working on my novel, and I did some work on the character development, but I haven't really written any new words. And so that's what I'm getting ready to do right now. As soon as I'm done with here, I have my I have my Pomodoro set, and as soon as I hang up from this recording, that's what I'm doing. And hopefully I'll knock out a couple thousand words before I go to bed. I had a really huge epiphany last night. I was going through my first novel, and I realized, I have been reading through this and marking this thing up. I have been marking this book up for 8 weeks now, just reading it and every single page marking it up. And it really is torturous to read it, because when I wrote it, I was new, and in the process of writing it, and then after I wrote it, I did a bunch of short stories, and then I wrote my second novel. And so I'm a better writer than I was when I wrote my second novel. So when I read this, it's almost unreadable. And I realize I'm never going to get this edited, because it is just that messy. It's just hideously messy. And so I guess I'm officially a novelist, because I now have a trunk novel. I've decided this is not the novel I'm going to edit and try to clean up. I've decided that I am going to completely replot it and completely rewrite it, probably next fall, maybe next winter. I'm just going to start over. There's There are a few awesome scenes in here that I am going to want to keep, but I'm going to rewrite the entire story without those scenes. And then when I go to edit, decide whether I'm going to keep the original version or the new version of those particular scenes. I realize that I love the story so much. It's not something I want to completely abandon, but it is something that I want to write correctly. I want to do the story justice. So next year, looks like that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be rewriting Remigian Rising from scratch with an entirely new plot, entirely, I know my characters really well. I know what they need to do, but I know them so much better now than when I started this book, and I'm just such a better writer that I just can't. I feel like starting over, I will end up with a much better book. So I'm really happy with that decision. I am going to rubber band it, put it up, because it's kind of funny that this was my first attempt at editing something. I kind of don't want to lose that. But on the other hand, I'm kind of tempted to just shred it. And that means the Holly Lyle course that I was taking, I was using this for that course. It's a 22-week course that takes you from beginning to end of editing a novel. And this novel's so messy that I couldn't physically get through the course. And so I'm going to use Past to go through that course. And originally, I was thinking about self-publishing, but I've decided that since I have this secret project going on, I am going to do what I originally wanted to do with my literary fiction. I am going to edit it this summer and start writing query letters. And that's a whole nother level of scary. I think the story is really good. I think the writing is significantly better than this book. I think once I edit it, especially with the level of improvement and understanding and craft that I've gained from all my work with short stories and reading short stories, you know, by using it for the editing class and going through it as if it was a short story with that level of edit, I think I'll come up with a really good novel. And the thought of trying to traditionally publish it is really scary. But at the same time, I think that's right. I think that's what I need for my literary fiction, at least to start. Um, I need the gatekeepers to wave their flag and let me know whether or not I'm good enough. And then when I'm good enough and when I have a reputation under my butt, then I may do some hybrid publishing as far as my literary fiction. As far as my secret project, unfortunately, it's not something that I'm going to be able to publicize. It's going to be under a pen name. It literally, the name of my secret project is Support My Literary Fiction. Like that's the whole point, is to do something where I can make enough money that I can write literary fiction and support myself through an MFA program. So it is a genre project, but it's not a project that I'm going to be sharing, unfortunately. That said, since I'm using Past to go through the Holly Lyle program, I will be doing reviews on the updates on the Holly Lyle program. I really believe in it. And because I wasn't able to get through it due to how messy this transcript is, I'm really looking forward to working the program, like in depth, really getting into that novel and making it into something really, really good. So yeah, that's where I'm at as far as my writing. And on that note, I should probably go so I can write my 3,000 words and get my butt to bed. So, ciao.